Good afternoon, this is Elaine with Elaine's Custom Cards, and this is card number 5 in our series of cards using the free Petal Promenade DSP that you can get with a $50 purchase until the end of March. This is just a little sympathy card I came up with. Let me tell you what products I used. I used the Doily Builder Thinlits dies. This little piece right here. It's right there, right here. I used that. I used the Stitched Labels Framelits. I used this label, and I'll tell you how I altered it for what my purposes. I used that, and then I used Flourishing phrases. I used With Sympathy on the front. On the inside I used Praying that your heart will be lifted by the many loving thoughts that surround you today. And then I used the Beautiful Promenade, which actually coordinates with this paper. I used this flower right here on the inside, and then I used it on the envelope, on the front of the envelope, and then on the flap. And this is Blushing Bride, Tranquil Tide, and Fresh Fig colors. And then I use this ribbon. It's the Whisper White Tulle ribbon, the polka dot. You have to be really careful with that when you tie it because it's pretty fragile. So let's get started on this card. I'll remind you of my drawings and such as we go. I have this card base ready, and I already stamped the inside. And then I have this piece of Fresh Fig, and I rounded the corners with the corner rounder because I'm going to put these on, these little things on that I cut out with this lace punch here. So all the sizes and dimensions will be, push the little arrow and they'll be down below. Whenever I try to say them on the video, I say them wrong, so it's better if I don't say that. What I did with this, I'll kind of show you. This piece here, I cut it out. Somehow it was together here. Maybe not. I thought it was. But anyway, this is the back of this paper. So this piece is 2 inches wide, and we're going to put it down first. This is, I'll go ahead and say it, 4 by 5 1/4. And I made this a little bit longer because I'm going to trim it. So let's just glue it on first. If I can. Probably put too much on there, but so I wanted to make sure and line it up at the bottom, and I want it centered this way. So 2 inches centered. And I used liquid glue because I wanted to make sure that I was able to move it around and get it where I want it. Let's wipe this glue off because I'm going to cut this. I don't want it all over my scissors. So then we're going to trim that off the top, flush with the edge of the card. Right there. Now you can certainly cut your paper exact, but I don't do that because I have a tendency to make it too short. So then you're going to use the back of your DSP and you're going to center it between here and here. And then we're going to trim the corners, because we don't want those little corners there. We want them rounded. So let's see if we can center that between those two. Just like that. Okay, and then we're going to do the same with the other side. Center that just so. Like that. And once you do that, wipe off any excess glue you might have got on there, which I always get plenty. And then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut following the rounded part of your cardstock where you rounded it. Just like that. Okay. So then you're going to take your two pieces that you punched with your, I don't know what that's called, anyway, and you're going to glue them this way so that the lace, I think it's, I had it in one of my other videos, so, and I'm going to make it so it kind of hangs over the edge like this, so you see that edge on the other side hanging over. That's what I'm going to do. So you're going to put your glue kind of, I would just dab it on there if you can get it on there without getting too much. It's a new bottle, so too much is, I would have put it on the bottom of the card, but you just kind of very carefully put it on there, and then you can kind of wipe it off a little bit with your finger if you think you got too much on there. But leave it dry as clear. And then you're just going to line that up along the bottom edge. And look at the back, and it doesn't hurt if it goes over, you just don't want it all over your work surface. So that's what that looks like. Yeah. Now we're going to do the other side. Let's put this down. I'm going to have glue all over my thing here. Okay. So now we're going to do the top half. We're going to do the same thing. Put glue along this edge right here. Not really at the bottom edge, although it's not going to hurt anything because you're going to glue this to the front of your card. Glue this. And that edge is going to be attached to the front of the card. So if it goes over a little bit, it doesn't really matter. You just got to make sure you get enough that it sticks to the front. Okay. So now you're going to put this on the top, doing the same thing. so that it hangs over a little bit. It's like so. This is the reason why I rounded the corners of this card, because I didn't want a square corner sticking up. Okay. Now, let me tell you how I did this. I took this because I didn't want those on there. So I just cut, kind of rounded it. Like that. On the ends. Right here. And right there. So that I would have that look. And then, after I did that, I took and put a glue dot right here on each side. Because we're going to stick these like this. And I lined it up. There's a little, put this over here, on that edge right there, kind of. So it look like that. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly the way I did it. That's just the way I did it. And then I put a Stampin Dimensional, and that's going to hold it in place once you get it the way you want it. Like so. And then after that, I didn't want that showing, so I trimmed it off. I didn't want it showing on the edge. And then I did the same thing to the other end. Like so. You don't have to leave your die cuts exactly the way they are. You can alter them and get a whole different look. And that's what I've been trying to do, is think outside the box. Okay, and we'll put Stampin' Dimensional in the middle, and we'll set that aside for a second, because we're going to tie our ribbon, and this is a challenge for me when doing it on camera. So we'll see what we can do with it. I'm going to do it like this. I'll see if I can get this tied and look pretty. Make sure you give yourself plenty of ribbon to work with. Like I said, this ribbon is pretty sensitive. So you have to be careful, because it gets out of shape and rips and okay. Now, I actually wanted my card this direction. I wanted this, well, I guess this can be the bottom. It just, for some reason, it looked better to me the other way, but it doesn't really matter. I wanted this to be the top. So if you got your ribbon, cut that. If you got your ribbon ends that aren't going the direction you want, rather than to try and re-tie it, I'll show you what I did. First of all, I think that that's probably not long enough. I guess we'll just let it go that direction. Okay, get that out of the way. What I did was, since I wanted this on top, I bent my card, flipped it over, put the ribbon back on, so that it would be going the direction I wanted. And I slid it down to where I wanted it, just like that. And I put a glue dot behind that bow so it would stay put. So I don't want it going anywhere. There. Okay, there's your bow. Here's your sentiment. I used Whisper White on this. This is thick Whisper White for the base, and regular Whisper White for the sentiment. And then I just put this kind of sort of centered this way and wherever you want here. And then you can adjust your bow. If it's too high, you can move it down a little bit. If you don't want it covering your words, but it's kind of see-through, so it doesn't really matter if it covers the words a little bit. And then after I did that, I used wet glue and glued it to the front of my card. Centered it left to right. You're going to have more, or it's not, there's going to be less space at the top and the bottom than the sides, which is fine. And then to finish it off, I took some, this is Tranquil Tide. These are Share What You Love Artisan Pearls. I put one on the sentiment, one over here, and then I put one down here, just like so. And that's your card. Remember my drawing? $50 purchase, get your name in the drawing once. Sign up as a demonstrator, get your name in the drawing 3 times. For every $50 purchase, you get your name in the drawing. There's my host code, $50. Use the host code if you order through me. The drawing's on 31st. Have a blessed day. Enjoy the sunshine.